Well, the day has finally come. We are finally at the end of an excruciating Marvel's Phase 4. So what better way to end that than with another shit movie that fits right in beside all the other shit ones. If I have anything to praise Marvel in recent years, it's that at least they're consistent with the absolute sludge that they pump out. They are consistent in it being just some of the worst stuff in storytelling. So to end Phase 4, we have Wakanda Forever. Expected it to be shit, it turned out shit. No surprise. Really no surprise. But apparently, this is what we've all been leading to for Phase 4, is Wakanda Forever. This is the perfect ending to Phase 4. I guess that's what they were going for. Dunno. Because Phase 4 has just been, we're going to do this shit over here. Then we're going to do that. That's all it was. There was no plan, because Kevin Feige has no plan. He is not this master planner that everyone seems to think he is. And that has become apparent throughout Phase 4. But Wakanda Forever, you know, what can I say about it before we actually break down this long, way too long movie? 2 hours and 40 minutes. That's how long this movie went on for. For some reason, didn't need to be. A lot of the stuff in there is just meaningless shite that doesn't need to be in there. We have it bookended with, you know, the front part of the movie is all to do with the, you know, Chadwick Boseman stuff. Do the same at the end of the movie. But everything that happens in between, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I really don't. We're told going into this movie that it's all about grief. That gets lost completely when we actually get into the movie. And then for some reason, in like the last half an hour of the movie, we go, Shuri is consumed by vengeance and needs to learn to let it go. It's like, where the fuck did that come from? It's just, there's nothing that just, none of it makes sense. It doesn't make sense. It's not about grief. Only the first 5 minutes are. After that, we go into typical generic Marvel sludge. You know, that's really all I can say about it. And this goes on for 2 hours and 40 fucking minutes. I don't know why it had to be that long. I really don't. It just amazes me that, oh, it needs to be 2 hours and fuck off. So, yeah, as you can tell, just too long. What a hard time to get through. It really was. Took me about 3 days just to actually get through the whole thing, because it was absolute boring snooze fest, long-winded, just a bad movie. It really was. I don't know what else I can say before we actually break this fucking thing down. But it's just, yeah, it just had nothing. It has nothing to offer anybody. Again, you know, I expected it to be absolute shite, and it was. What more can I say? What more can I say, really, other than just, let's just get into this, because we're probably already going to be here for a while, so we might as well just start. So, of course, they go with the... we know they went with just killing off T'Challa. I would have just recast. I think that was the better thing to do. Or I just wouldn't have bothered doing a second movie. Pick one of those. Those are the best options. But instead, we're getting Shuri. You know, don't know why. I don't know why. It's almost like Marvel always were going to do this. So, yeah, they kill off T'Challa, of course. So they have it like his funeral. Whereas, yeah, you have like his coffin. I thought the coffin looked a bit tacky and all that sort of stuff, but... And then, the Marvel opening scene just has, like T'Challa, in them. So, yeah, but again, this stuff just gets completely lost throughout the movie. It's like you would think the movie would somehow have a through line about grief. It doesn't. It doesn't. It just goes, we're going to war with fish people. That's what it turns into. So it's like all this stuff at the start really doesn't amount to anything. It really doesn't. They like to play off at the very end of the movie that's Shuri's now completed her arc. No, she didn't. There was none of that in the movie. It was just, no, we're going to bring it back up at the end. at the end. Fuck it. You think there would be some connection to grief with having, you know, what's his, Namor, or whatever they call him now. So we're at a UN meeting with the Queen. So yeah, this goes on for a bit, and it's just, well, yeah, because there was like I think when T'Challa was alive, there was agreements between the country about vibranium and stuff like that. And now the Queen's going back on that, because as she put it, we won't trade vibranium under any circumstances. Again, what you've got to understand about Wakanda, they think they're better than everybody else. They're allowed to do whatever the fuck they want, but anybody else, nah. You're not allowed. So she says, you can't be trusted. You can't be trusted with it. But the funny thing is, you know, I don't think the Wakandans can necessarily be trusted with it either, considering what happened in the first movie with Killmonger. It's like, because for some reason you're this advanced civilization, yet you have trial by combat to figure out who's going to rule Wakanda. Doesn't make any sense. It's fucking stupid. And I know people are going to say, well, it's their culture. Just because it's someone's culture doesn't mean something isn't fucking dumb. And that's what having trial by combat to figure out who the next king is, especially with an advanced civilization, is backwards. It is absolutely backwards. So what happened? Killmonger became the Black Panther, King of Wakanda, and he wanted to kill everybody. So, but no, Wakanda's sitting on their high horse again, going, no, we can be trusted with it, you can't. It's just funny, because the whole point of the first movie was T'Challa think we should have been helping people. But now they're like, nah, you ain't fucking having any of it. You ain't having any of our secrets about medicine or anything like that. Not giving you any of that. So the UN meeting mixes in with, like, because Wakanda have got some outreach fucking whatever in the ocean, so you get like the US Army that storm the place, I guess, because they want the vibranium out of it, and then all the you know, I forget most of the people's names in this because I don't really remember them. But Danny Guerrera, I know Danny Guerrera, I know Michonne. Unfortunately, in this, I can't remember. I always forget a name, so I'm not even going to bother using it. So they were all like undercover, so they come out and beat the people with guns by using spears, because apparently that is what an advanced civilization uses. It's fucking spears, not guns. No, spears. And they somehow beat people with guns. The reason they beat them is because the people with guns just stand there. They just stand there while, you know, Danny Guerrera's slashing their guns apart. And and then she starts, you know, like blocking bullets with a spear. She's not superhuman. She's not superhuman. Can't do that. Sorry, you can't do that. But we have a hard time with that. Everybody forgets that not everybody in Marvel is superpowered. So yeah, that is just stupid. So they have that, and then they walk these soldiers into the UN, the UN meeting room. How they got past security without being stopped, don't know. So yeah, they have that. So it's basically, you ain't getting none of our vibranium. We're gonna be all high and mighty. We're so better than everybody else. Wakanda is the most powerful nation on the world. They say that. Doesn't seem like that though, from what the movie actually shows. So now we're out into the ocean, where they're like I guess it's the US government. And they're in the water looking for vibranium, because they have a vibranium detector now. I can't wait to get to how a vibranium detector came about. I can't wait to get into that, because it's just, it was there. You know, that's all there is to it. So yeah, they're in the water. So now, as it turns out, Wakanda isn't the only place that has vibranium. as it turns out now, in fact, vibranium can be anywhere, really. It's now in other places. The Wakandans never thought to check. Never thought to check. Are we the only ones with, you know, they could have made a vibranium detector just to make sure. But no, they didn't. So, and then these two people in the ocean get killed. And then you start hearing this song being sung. Basically, it's the self-deletion song. So it's the song coming from the... I'll just call them the Atlanteans, because the other name, it's further down in my notes, and I can't be bothered going to find it. So they sing some song that makes people jump off the edge of the boat to their death. That is the gist of what they can do. How they've come to be able to do that, don't know. Don't know how you've come up with a song that makes people want to off themselves. Don't know how you've done that. So you would think with having that would come up many, many times in the movie, but it only comes up in select times, and it only seems to work on extras. That's about it. So they sing that, so you've got people jumping off the edge of the boat. The Whammon boss and some guy, they figure this out straight away, so they put stuff in their ears. You know, they just figured it out straight away. So yeah, they run off. You see all the blue the Smurf people. Let's just call them that. All the Smurf people. So you've got like the Whammon boss. She's shooting at, like, killing them with her guns. Smart, you see, using a gun rather than a spear. The only issue with a gun, though, is it has about 60 rounds in it, and it's a fucking handgun. So don't know how that works, but, you know, whatever. And then when they're flying off in the helicopter, some man flies in with wings on his ankles and flings the helicopter away. Yeah, that would have been, because I know from the comics he has wings on his ankles, but seeing it in actual live action looks stupid. It looks ridiculous. It really does. I think that there's some parts of the movie where it doesn't look as bad, but when you first see it for the first few times, it's just embarrassing. It really, you just see a man with wings on his ankles floating about. So yeah, that really, I would have just had him fly for the movie, because I think that just seeing that on screen doesn't look good. Where I think if you just seen it in a comic panel, you wouldn't really think too much of it. So that happens. So, and then you've got the Queen. You've got like the CNN coming up. Wakanda foils attack on Outreach Center. So stuff like that. So, of course, what's happened with what went down on that boat where all those people off themselves, Wakanda is they're gonna be suspected of doing that, because nobody knows about this civilization under the water. So a lot of those I think we can kind of, it's more for the end of it, once we get through most of it. So the Queen's going back to Wakanda. And I think we need to look at this. So, of course, when you're flying back to Wakanda, it's got the force fields up and stuff like that. So you would think because the first movie, they just opened certain sections so people could come in. So we come into this. So yeah, so what happens? I've got to put this up on screen because it's fucking daft. So what you would think to happen to open up one of these sections, you would just press a button. Just press a button. You're an advanced civilization. Why you would be doing certain things like this, I don't know. But let's just have a quick look at it, shall we? So first of all, they've got what looks like a DJ table. I don't know why. Seems a bit racist to me. But they've got a DJ table there. And this little thing here, if you could see my mouse, that has a bit of water in it. So to open up the force field so they can come through, The guy starts playing the fucking drums on it. An advanced civilization starts playing drums to open up a fucking... Just open it up with a button. Open it up with a button. It's like, what if the guy's off rhythm or something like that? Then the aircraft's going to smash straight into the force field. But that's what... They've just got this little thing with water in it, and they just start tapping it to open up the... I don't know what that's about. Some stupid person probably came up with that idea, I imagine. So that's what they went with to open up the gates. That's just... I don't know why. I don't know why. I really don't. So after that, fuck, just a strangeness going on. Rather than just pressing a button, you decide to tap the drums in water to open up... fucking hell. Again, you're either an advanced civilization or you're not. Pick one. But there hasn't been any thought put into it, so that's why we've got what we've got. So now we've got... Let me just make sure I'm caught up in all this. We got a lot of stuff to go through. I've still got to skim through the second hour to make sure I've got all the notes I need. So I'm going to be here all day fucking about with this movie, when what I could be doing is playing God of War Ragnarok or something like that. So Shuri, because of her grief that gets forgotten throughout the movie, she's just putting herself to work. She's building shit and stuff like that. She's trying to take her mind off it. Which, you know, I don't really see how it's an issue, but it's made out to be an issue later on. So the Queen comes in, shit like that. They talk. So, and then they go out to the river. Because they in their culture, when they're out of funerals for someone, they burn their clothes or something like that. So they go down there. Shuri goes all villain. Says a villain line. You know, I don't know why. She says, if I sit and think about my brother too long, it won't be those clothes that I'll burn. It'll be the world and everyone in it. Calm down. And then, like, after telling her mother, you know, if I hear about my brother, I'm going to kill everybody. Her mother then goes, I have something to tell you about your brother. Oh, fucking hell. So, yeah, they like, and before they can say anything, you get the more, or a gun. You get that guy that flies in. Well, no, he swims in. We're going to have to talk about this fucking force field, aren't we, again? So he comes in and he brings the vibranium detector with him. But yeah, basically, so yeah, where is he? So he comes in out the water. So they're like, how the fuck did this guy get in? And that's because the Wakandans, they don't block the fucking... They don't have a force field in the water. So people can just swim the fuck under it. Pointless having a force field now, innit? Remember that time in Infinity War with all the monsters trying to get in? Could have just went in the river. Could have just swam in the water, got in easily. That's what they could have done. So, yeah, this guy's just... So, what you would think to happen is they'd figure this out. They figure, oh, it came in the water. We better make sure that is covered up. But they don't. They don't change that. They don't figure out what happened. It's just, nah, leave it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Even though later on, the fucking Atlanteans come back again using the same way. Fucking everyone just so stupid, isn't they? So Namor comes up. He says the old line. Yeah, he says, my mother told me stories about places like this. A protected land with people who never have to leave or change who they were. I'm just like, I don't really get what you're trying to say, but you don't. People change regardless of where they are. I don't know. We've got another clown character that's just Killmonger. That's all. They've just done Killmonger again. They've done it again. But we'll talk about that the further we get in. So then, you know, the Queen's like, who are you? What are you doing here? So we get the scene. My friends call me a gun. And then he says, but my enemies call me Namor, which we later find out means the boy without love. So he's an incel, basically. So, yeah, basically, that's what it is. So, and then he goes on and on about, he says, the Americans found vibranium under my nation's domain. Which, you know, we'll talk about that machine once we find out how this machine was built and shit like that. But he's just under the assumption, so what he wants Wakanda to do is go and kill the scientist that made this vibranium detector in case someone, like, they find out where his underwater civilization is. So that's what he wants out of the Wakandans. Could have just done it himself because he sends his guys anyway. But we can talk about it when we get... I'm kind of jumping ahead because I want to get it fucking done. So that's essentially what it is. He blames T'Challa for revealing vibranium to the world. And yeah, he wants the scientist who made the machine to kill her so another one doesn't get built. Because for some reason... There's only one. There can only be one. There's only one person that knows how to fucking build it. Apparently, that's what happens. Nobody else can replicate the machine. So he basically wants to kill a person just in case they find out where he lives. So you can see he's a bit of a psycho. He's not an anti-hero, he's a villain. He's a villain. Same as Killmonger. Villain. More similar to fucking Killmonger anyway. So he's basically like, oh, you should go and kill this scientist for me. It's only fair. And then the Queen gets all xenophobic, saying, you do not sneak into my country and tell me what's fair. So, yeah, Namor just threatens them, says, if you don't do this, I'll be back and we'll fucking take you out. We shall take you out. And, yeah, he says, blow into this turtle's ass, I guess what it was, put it in the water and I'll be here once you decide to help me or not. So, yeah, that's what happens. And then they're having, like, a meeting about this shit. M'Baku, who probably should have been in the movie more, because he's the only person with any fucking charisma. Any charisma. He seems like the only person trying to actually get people to give a shit about him. But I suppose that's one of the only praises I can give this movie. That at least I don't care about any of these fucking characters. That's a plus, isn't it? Always a plus when you don't give a shit about the characters in the first place. So yeah, they have this meeting about what happened. M'Baku's like, I would have just killed him. You've got that guy with a big fucking plate in his mouth. Get rid of it. It's just unnecessary. It really is. So now we've got Shuri pulling apart this machine. This vibranium detector machine. There's only one of them. Only one person can build these. One person. Because for some reason the US government didn't think to tear it apart, have a look so that in case they lose it, they can replicate it. Instead of just one person. You know, dumb. So Shuri's going to work on this, pulling it apart. She says the machine is brilliant. It was built with junkyard scraps. And I even wrote this in my notes anyway, because I'm like, Ironheart hasn't even shown up yet, and she's already amazing. And yeah, it gets worse than that. It really does. I'm just like, fucking hell. Riri Williams, strip out the movie, don't need her. You don't need her. She's only in here because of the Ironheart series that nobody's going to watch. I'll watch it because I want to tear it apart. So, yeah, she's already amazing. Danny Guerrero tells the Queen, listen, let me take the princess out. Let her get some fresh air and stuff. Like, the Queen's, like, hesitant to do it. And then they do, and then Shuri's like, when do I get to see my favourite colonizer? That gets said a couple of times in the movie. There's nothing new, really. It's not really funny. You know, I guess they're going for the laugh. So they're off to see Martin Freeman. He's out going out a jog. And they have a conversation with him. So we just get some information from him about this machine, about the person that built it. Martin Freeman tells them the US needs another machine. And this kid, so it's a 19-year-old that built this machine. This kid is the only one who can build one. Now, how the fuck does that work, you might ask? I don't know. I don't know. She's at university as well. It's like, why are you at university if you're so amazing at all this stuff? Don't need to be there. Should be working for the US government. They would have given you... that's what they do. They give people jobs if they've got fucking great skill. But in this case, nah. They just apparently buy the machine off her. They don't think to buy how she built it. Why she didn't tell them how she built it, I don't know. But only one child, one teenager knows how to build a vibranium detector. Where she got vibranium from, because that is what you need to figure out if it works or not. You need a sample of vibranium so the machine knows what it's looking for. But chances are you probably didn't have any vibranium. So that's what they find out. So then they, Danny Guerrero and Shuri go off to find this girl. But only one person can build it. No one thought to... No other scientists in the world thought, well, let's pull this machine apart, see what makes it work. So they've just went, it's just this fucking girl knows how to make one. Just knows how to make one. So now we get introduced to Riri Williams in a minute. You've got Danny Guerrero and Shuri, they're watching her. Danny Guerrero makes silly comments about iPhones primitive. I just couldn't help but think to myself, you use a fucking spear. You use a spear. You can't really call anything primitive when that's what you use for a weapon rather than a gun. You know, guns, it means you can stand over there and shoot from a distance. That way, not putting yourself in as much danger. But no, we fight with spears, because that makes sense for an advanced civilization. Don't know what else I can say about that. So, Danny Guerrero is going to give Shuri 5 minutes to... Because they want to kidnap this girl. Remember, at the start of the movie... the Queen said to the UN, "Oh, if you try and take my stuff again, that would be considered an act of aggression, an act of war." Yet they're allowed to go to other countries, kidnap people, and they think it's perfectly fine for them to do. But if it was the other way around, be like, that is an act of fucking war. So Shuri goes and talks to Riri Williams. Took about 30 seconds for me to go, yeah, I hate this person already. But that's okay, you see, because later on, Danny Guerrero's character says, I like her, so that makes me like Riri Williams. I guess that's their logic on it. You know, they did it with Captain Marvel, where Thor said it to her, I like this one. They did that because they knew everybody fucking hated her guts. So, yeah, so we've got all this stuff. We find out how this vibranium detector came to be. Apparently, a professor said, you can't build a vibranium detector, so she built one. That's somehow how it worked. Randomly, just out of the blue, you can't make a vibranium detector. I'm going to make a vibranium detector and show you. That's how a vibranium detector came into being. It wasn't, oh, well, you know, I wanted vibranium for a suit or some shit like that. So I thought what I'll do is I'll come up... No, they didn't do anything like that. It's just, I just randomly came up with it. In about 2 months, I built it. Built it in 2 months because my professor said I couldn't do it. But I could do it, as she says, because young, gifted and black, though. So as you can imagine, my eyes rolled into the back of my head. Because it was a very cringe line. But that's how this machine came into being. It's, my professor said I couldn't. The professor said, specifically, you can't build a vibranium detector. It doesn't work. That's not how it works. You don't just magically wake up one day and go, let's make a vibranium detector. And you would think after making something like that, again, you would get a job within the CIA, whoever it is, Like, they would give you a job. You know, why are you at university? Even without getting a job off the government, you would still get a job in all these different tech companies. All you have to do is go in and show, yeah, I fucking built this. You'd get a job instantly. Don't need to go to university. Why are you there? Dunno. I don't know. So Shuri's saying, brilliance at a young age is not always accepted. You know, whatever. So, yeah, after this whole shenanigans, you get Danny Guerrero comes in through the bathroom window, I guess, because she walks out the toilet. So then we get Danny Guerrero playing about 3 different characters here for whatever reason, to the point I'm like, I don't even know who you are. Who are you? You know, it's a scene where it goes, you have Danny Guerrero saying, I like her, for whatever reason. Then she goes to threatening her, saying, you either come to Wakanda with us, conscious or unconscious. That was supposed to be a joke. I imagine you didn't laugh. So, yeah, that's what happens. And then she goes to being embarrassed about her fucking baldy. So, it's like, one minute you like her, the next minute you're threatening her. I'm getting mixed messages here. But they just had the reason they put that in there, another character saying, I like this character that you've got no reason to like at all. The only reason it's there is just that, to trick the audience into liking Riri Williams. Doesn't work, though, because Riri Williams in this, first of all, doesn't need to be there in the first place. Second of all, when she is there, she's insufferable. So that does us with that scene. So they're going to kidnap her, because Wakanda don't face consequences for that. They don't think they should face consequences for stealing a US citizen and taking them into their country. That is called kidnapping. Generally, there are consequences to that, but not for Wakanda, because they're better than everybody else. Fucking hell. So where do we go from here? We're still 20 minutes away from the first hour mark. Fucking hell. The movie that just won't end. So now, yeah, they go to this, like, mechanics workshop where Riri has all her computers and devices and shit like that. It's her life's work. She's been building, basically an Iron Man suit. Never brings up Iron Man in this movie whatsoever. So my guess is she doesn't idolize him or look up to him. She's just going to be better than him. So they're all saying to her, you just leave this laying around. Shuri's like, have you ever been locked out of your computer, like forgotten your password to that? So Riri says to that, yeah, I did once, actually. I had to build a quantum computer to crack my own encryption. Can you have any more of an ego? When that's what you say. She got locked out of her computer, so then built a quantum computer to crack. She had to build a quantum computer just to crack her own encryption. Okay, I guess. Also, there's a whole YouTube channel dedicated to sightings of me. Fucking up your own arse, ain't you? Fuck me. So after all that goes done, after she just licks her own arse, after the whole, there's a YouTube channel that's dedicated to sightings of me. So amazing. The suit that's unveiled is fucking shit. So I don't even know what. I don't even know why there's a YouTube channel dedicated to it. So you've got Shuri going off on a motorbike, Danny Guerrero going off in a car, and Riri's gonna fly off in her suit. So, yeah, we've just got this massive chase all across, I believe it's in Boston. Yeah, that's where it's Boston. So they're flipping cars, police cars about and all that. And for some reason, there's a drone going about. Don't know why. Don't know why there's a drone, but there's a drone up in the sky that Riri Williams, she follows high, about 30,000 feet into the sky with nothing around her fucking mouth. They're trying to recreate the Iron Man scene where he flies up so high and then falls back down. The only difference is Iron Man had something around his fucking face that had oxygen in it. Whereas Riri Williams' mouth is just open. 30,000 feet in the sky. Pretty sure bad things happen when that is the case. if you stuck your face out a plane window, I don't think it'd go well for you. I don't think you go, oh, it's all right. It was only 5 seconds. So yeah, she flies up. You even have like this AI thing in her head or in her earpiece, whatever it is, that starts talking about oxygen levels. You're like, what fucking oxygen levels? I guess if you mean the oxygen that's currently in the air. But if you're talking about oxygen, she ain't got a mask on, so she doesn't have any oxygen levels other than what's in her body. My guess is the AI isn't figuring out that unless that is what they think happens. Don't know. So she flies off after this. Then she falls out of the sky. Then she manages to catch the drone. So what happens is there's this bridge. There's this bridge. For some reason, there's nobody on it, but the police have blocked off the bridge to stop Danny Guerrero and Shuri coming towards them and taking the bridge and escaping. So what Riri Williams does, throws the drone into the cops' cars and all the cop cars explode. So she's killed people. Not a good plan. So that's what happens. They show us one cop running away. What about the rest? There was a load of cops there. They're dead. You killed a bunch of people doing their jobs. Didn't think twice about it. You didn't think, oh, I better make sure those cops are out of the way first. Even then, it's like you've just destroyed fucking. What are you doing? What are you doing? Again, we have to keep going back to Wakanda talking about acts of war. That's what this is. Wakanda have just come and done some shit, destroyed police cars, fucking flipped them over and all that. No consequences to that, though, is there? There should be by the end of the movie, but no, of course not. We don't deal with what the consequences would actually be. We just forget about it and move on. So Riri Williams, after killing a load of people, not a good introduction, is it, so far? She's annoying and she's also a murderer. But no, we don't deal with those consequences. We don't realise what we've just done. Jesus. So where are we now? So yeah, after that she falls onto the bridge. She's unconscious. Then when Shuri and Danny Guerrero, they're, of course, one's in a car, one's in a motorbike. This water bomb gets thrown on the bridge. It's like about that size, and it has about a ton of water in it. So it knocks the car over, rolls over. Shuri, she has like a shield but it still knocks her out because, it just landed on a shield. It's like you're still gonna feel that. So Shuri's knocked out. Ironheart's knocked out, and Danny Guerrero, because they somehow think she's superhuman, has just rolled in a fucking car. She's fine. She's not unconscious or anything like that. So she's all good and dandy. So she gets out of the car, and then so they're on this bridge that for some reason has no people on it. And then these Smurfs jump out the water. You've got another Whammon boss. So basically, Namor's whole thing, so far, is I don't want the outside world or anybody to know about my civilization. Yet they're on the bridge. They turn up on fucking whales that fucking splash out the water. Some cop cars pull up behind them, and of course, cop cars, what they have cameras on the dash. So they've already seen you. This is a very silly risk. Namor doesn't want the civilization to be known. You've already fucked that up because these cameras, I guess, relay back to police stations. Or I'm pretty sure someone radioed in, got some fucking Smurfs on this bridge. But it's fine, though, because the Whammon boss runs up to the car and she kills all the cops. And then, yeah, later on, the next day, we have, Martin Freeman that turns up checking this out. And it turns out the cars are gone. But I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure you've still been caught. I don't think getting rid of the cars does anything. So, there's that. The Smurfs jump up here. The Whammon runs off to kill the cops. While she leaves this big guy around. and they just start fighting. Like Danny Guerrero and fucking Blue Guy, they start having a bit of a scrap. I'm pretty sure at one point Danny Guerrero drops a spear and the guy picks it up and gives it back to her. Because they're trying to make out, oh, this guy's honourable, even though 5 minutes ago, out of nowhere, he just threw a water bomb under their car, flipped them over. Wouldn't call that honourable, but now all of a sudden it's like, we have honour, us Smurfs. So she gives them that back, so they fight it out a bit. Then, he throws a water bomb at her, and rather than dodging the thing, she hits it with a spear. It's like, now it's just going to explode in your face. Just dive out of the way so it doesn't hit you. So she gets knocked into the ocean, over the bridge. She's perfectly fine, isn't injured, even though she isn't superhuman in the slightest. She just had this water fucking smash in her face. She's fine, though. She's fine. So then Shuri wakes up and says, oh, take me to Namor. Now, why would Namor want you to come to his fucking base of operations, his underground civilization, when he doesn't want people of the outside world to know where it is? Why would he want someone who is potentially his enemy to know where the fuck he lives? Why would he want that? So this blue guy that takes Shuri back, Namor should be scolding him for this. It's like, no, why the fuck are you bringing her here? She might be an enemy, you dumb shit. But no, we've got to take her. We've got to take her there, and we've got to take Riri Williams. Even though the whole point was to kill her, Namor wanted her dead. He didn't want you to bring her to his magical lair. She's laying over there on the floor. Just why is Shuri? Why is Shuri? It's like, this is your mission. Even though Namor sent the Wakandans to do it, then he goes, right, I send my own guys as well. So what? Riri's over there laying on the ground. Kill her. I wouldn't recommend taking the princess, but since you're gonna, just take her. But why would you leave Riri Williams alive? Why would you take her with you? Who knows? Who the hell knows? So this big blue guy, because they've got like little masks on their faces that have got a little bit of water in them, I guess, so they can breathe. just a little bit of water there that keeps fish alive, doesn't it? Although I don't know if they have gills or not, so I can't really say. I don't think we see any gills, so I just have to guess that now they're just breathing this little bit of water in. So he takes his mask off, puts it onto Shuri, and then takes her and Riri back to the civilization that Namor didn't want anyone to know about, especially his enemies. Fucking hell. So we're already running into a lot of problems. So, and then you've got Danny Guerrero. She can't do nothing. They go off on whales. These whales that nobody else had seen. Whales in a river. Nobody was walking about along the edges or anything like that to see it. Along the banks of the rivers. Yeah, it's like you're already caught. So, yeah, now it's the next day where Martin Freeman turns up. We've got Madam Hydra, isn't it? So they suspect, oh, this was the Wakandans. It was yeah. So again, all these things are mounting up. All these crimes, these they're mounting up. So we're eventually going to come to the end where there should be a lot of consequences for all that's gone down. But no. No, we'll get there, though. We'll get there soon enough. We'll get there in another hour and 40 minutes. Oh, Well, we're only at 52 minutes so far, so we've still got a few to go. So we go back to, in that scene with Martin Freeman, he picks up Shuri's bracelets. A bracelet that's got, like, little balls on it and all that. But as it turns out later on, that Madam Hydra planted that there so he would take them. Again, another character that's betting a lot on certain things happening. So, yeah, she put that there like to see if Martin Freeman was fucking selling his own country out, betraying his country, which he does many, many times in this movie, to the point where it's like, you're going to get fucked for this, mate. is Wakanda really worth the risk for you, is it? Okay. We'll talk about that later. So now we've got a meeting going on with the Queen and Danny Guerrero. Danny Guerrero gets fired because, I don't know, the Queen's just like, you're fired. You're fired. Like, Danny Guerrero's like, I'll go and fucking find her. You don't need to fire me. But yeah, she gets fired. So she's crying. She walks out. She's stripped of all her stuff. I feel so sad for her. Yeah. So that happens. Then the Queen, after I don't know how long, goes down to, because Shuri has an AI system. So the Queen's like, can you track her bracelet? And then it turns out they can track her earrings. So they already know where she's gone, where she is. Fuck me, you're Namor. You're a shit villain. You really are. You've just let your people. Now the Wakandans know where you are. What more can I say? You didn't want anybody to know. Now because your people are dumb. Now because we weren't able to kill off Riri Williams or anything like that, or have Shuri deal with the consequences of blowing up police cars and stuff. That's what we're hit with. So yeah, it turns out they can track her earrings. Then Martin Freeman's driving Madam Hydra back to, I don't know, 8 hours down the road. And then Martin Freeman gets a call from the Queen. Wakanda, the most powerful nation in the world, they need one FBI guy to help them. I may be pointing out Wakanda being the most powerful nation, because later on it seems like, no, they're not. They're not the most powerful nation. All they've got is vibranium. That's about it. So yeah, I don't. Does she? Yeah, she just wants Martin Freeman to tell, because the FBI and that suspect Wakanda's involvement on the bridge. She wants Martin Freeman to tell her when they act on their suspicions. And Martin Freeman's like, okay, I'll do anything for you because you're better than us. Better than us. So he's going to risk going to prison and all that sort of stuff, but we don't deal with consequences. So later on in the movie, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. It's not a big point. It's just, yeah, he gets away scot-free anyway, so it doesn't matter, does it? Pointless. So, yeah, that's all that was. We're almost at the hour mark. So the Queen goes to a person where I'm like, who the fuck's this? Who's this? I don't remember her. But it's T'Challa's girlfriend. I guess, do people remember her? I don't. From what I remember, she was barely in it. So, I don't know. But the Queen's went to her for help. Because she's in Haiti. Haiti. She's where the Haitians live. I think Haiti, that's better enough. So yeah, they're there, and the Queen's like, I need your help to find a Shuri, but make sure you're not seen doing it. The reason why I say that is because later on, where you would think she would be being stealthy about saving Shuri and Riri Williams, she just walks in. Even though the Queen said, make sure you're not seen. She just walks in the room like, hello. But we're getting a bit ahead of myself. So yeah, she just wants her help for that. They have a conversation about some shit. Don't remember. Don't care. Wasn't anything important or anything like that, so it's fine. But anyway, continuing on, we're now at Namor's secret civilization that he didn't want anybody to know about. So what he done was, well, not him, his man, he brought his possible enemy to where he lives. So now there's a possibility that this information could get out there, which is, smart villains. Everybody loves a smart villain. Unfortunately, that doesn't exist here. Unfortunately, we're stuck with shitty, just a shit version of Namor, or K'Kan. So yeah, like they want Shuri to put a dress on. He's going to, yeah, and then she's gonna have like dinner with Namor, and then we get some scene with, still don't know her name. It was T'Challa's girlfriend. So I don't know. She's going undercover, trying to find out information about where these people are. And then we jump back to Shuri and so this part of the movie. This is the holy fucking exposition part of the movie. Where it's just, instead of gradually finding things out about Namor, we just have it all dumped on us. You know, that's easier then, isn't it? You know, no craftsmanship whatsoever. It's just, here you go, here's the information you want. So, yeah, he gives, like, Shuri a bracelet, and straight away I was like, oh, that's gonna get the Black Panther juice, isn't it? Or the flower power, or whatever it is, really. So, yeah, he gives her that. Namor says, oh, that was my mother's bracelet. So yeah, now we're just about to get the exposition on how everything came to be. Again, couldn't do it gradually, you know, craft it into the story. No, it's just, here you go. There's the information. Okay, so yeah, so basically what Namor is he's trying to convince Shuri to let him kill the scientist rather than just kill the fucking scientist. I don't know why, you know, I guess he wants Wakanda as allies, but we can get to part of that. That's when we get to the part where you realize, oh, it's just Killmonger again. They didn't actually come up with a different villain that wanted, you know, had different motivations. It's just, now we're going to do the same thing. Jesus. So now we're getting into the story of his mother. So yeah, that's what's funny about it. He wants to convince Shuri to let him kill the scientist, kill Riri. So he goes, my mother? Is where you going with this? I don't know how this is going to convince Shuri to let you kill an innocent person. Again, you're just dealing with... The only reason he wants to kill the scientist is just in case the governments of the world go searching for vibranium again. The only issue with that, though, is they already know where the vibranium is. They already know where it is. I don't know. They're not going to need the vibranium machine again unless they want to go and find more. But they're going to go back to that same location at the beginning of the movie where Namor... like they sung that song and made him jump off the boat. So that location is already... people already know where it is. So they're going to come back out here with or without the scientist. They don't need the scientist for it. They already know where it is. But again, it's just working on the basis where maybe if this happens, then that happens, then that happens, and then this happens, and then 5 more things happen, and that could eventually lead to us. Therefore, kill innocent people. Right. Not very smart, is he? But again, we're dealing with a movie where there's only one person in the entire world out of all the scientists that know how to make a vibranium detector. It's like, I don't know why we're working on that basis. It's like, yeah, it doesn't work. Like, Namor's not even considering, oh, well, there must be some people around the world that can rebuild it again. So me killing this scientist, and I don't even know why we're calling Riri a scientist. She isn't a scientist. So, yeah, just a lot of dumbness going on. But let's get to the story of his mother. Because that's going to convince Shuri to kill an innocent girl. Whatever. They've already had opportunities to kill Riri. They haven't taken it. Because she's getting her own series. But Riri doesn't need to be in this movie. Barely in it anyway. Wait, most of the time she's just standing in the background. That's about it. So, apparently, Namor is like 500 years old. So, we go back to 1571 AD. Where his mother was a human, right? But they were all dying of smallpox and stuff like that. So one guy prayed to the gods for some shit, and then he swam into a cave and found this blue glowing plant that is, of course, it's got like vibranium in it. So they all take this, like his mother's like has to be convinced to take it because she's pregnant with Namor at the time. So she's worried about what it could do to her baby, but she gets convinced anyway. So after they take this blue flower, this vibranium stuff, well, of course, as we know, they turn into fish people. So yeah, once they take the like they sniff it. So what I actually wrote in my notes was basically, it's basically broken down into my mother sniffed some plants and I was born with wings on my ankles and my ears were pointy. That's basically it. But let's go a bit further into it than that because it's quite hilarious. So after they've all this tribe, whatever they are, have taken like sniffed this stuff into their nose, they then like fall ill. Yeah, they kind of like get knocked out, and when they wake up, they can't breathe. So most people will go, "Oh well, we're dead then." But instead, they somehow come to the conclusion, "Oh, you know that stuff, water, that will help us breathe." So yeah, I don't know what made them think, jump in the water then. We can't breathe, so we must be fish. I don't. Again, people come into this conclusion that you're not able to breathe, so you think jump in the water, jump in the ocean. So it's lucky they were beside the ocean, wasn't it? Otherwise, they'd be fucked. But even then, I don't think they're coming to the conclusion, I can't breathe. Oh, water helps you breathe. No, it fucking doesn't. That isn't coming across your mind to jump in the ocean. But fine, they jump in the ocean. They like turn blue and all that. So yeah, it's kind of the way these people work is, other than Namor, is when they come out of the water, their skin goes blue, but in the water, like their skin's normal color. So yeah, they turn blue, thought we can't breathe, jump in the ocean. Then that's known for helping humans breathe. So yeah, they all jump in the water and then they're fine. So yeah, Namor just says about himself. So like when I was like born under the water, I'm a mutant. I'm a mutant and I can breathe air and water. So yeah, we've had all our exposition stuff. Fucking hell, so lazy. Just throw it at you. Just throw it at you, and even then, half of it doesn't make fucking sense. The main one being why would you come to the conclusion to jump in the water when you can't breathe? You would just go, oh, this plant's clearly killed us off then. It's the end. But no, for some reason. Whatever. So Namor's born with so Namor's born with wings on his ankles. I'm telling you, they should have just had him fly. That just still the look of it with someone having wings on their ankles is just so ridiculous. And yeah, they do in fact have gills. They have gills here. So I guess because I was going to go for, so if they've got gills, just putting a bit of water there, that's not going to save them. You need to actually have the gills in water, but I think the stuff they wear around here, that covers that, I guess. I think they do bring it up, the padding, because yeah, I think Shuri and that talk about it when like they're talking about how is Namor built, what's his, all this shit. So I guess that's fine. But we're still in the exposition territory. So now it's about before my mother died, she wanted to be buried back on land, back where she was from. So they show up. They show up on the edge of the ocean, and there's slavery going on for some reason. Yeah, there's just like it's like Spanish. First, again, why would he wouldn't even know about this anyway in the first place? But yeah, for some reason there happens to be a plantation right where his mother wanted to be buried. So yeah, they just show up, slavery going on. So they burn the house down. I don't know if it seems like they kill everybody there, like even the slaves. I don't know. And then they just bury his mum. And then you get a little kid, Namor, flying up with wings on his ankles. So then Namor says, and the Spanish man cursed me before he died, calling me we've already mentioned it. The child without love. I don't. Why would you even say that to someone? Where would you get? Oh, he clearly doesn't have love or know how to love, so therefore, child without love. Incel. So yeah, now we're back with Shuri and Namor now, where he just finishes that off with, "I have no love for the surface world. That's why I have to kill Riri." What the fuck is going on? I don't know what's going on. You're going from my mother back in day. My mother was a fish person, so that's why I have to kill Riri. Right? Okay. So yeah, that's we went through all of that. Again, the only reason for it being there was, right, we need the audience to know things about Namor, so let's dump it on them, and that will do. And then what we'll do is that will now convince, like, Namor will now think that's going to convince Shuri to kill an innocent girl. It's like, no, you're not going to be able to convince her. It's very obvious you're not going to be able to convince her. So you going on about your fucking mother, I don't know what you're trying for. I don't know what you're going for. So Shuri is like, let Riri go back to Wakanda. We'll keep her there, and then you can keep me instead. So that's pretty much that. And then Shuri says, "Oh, let me have a little look round at your city." And Namor's just like, "Yeah, come on then. Even though you may be my enemy, come and see where we live." What a shit villain. It's like, it just completely goes against what they've already established. They've already established that he will go to great lengths to make sure the information or the existence or the location of where his home is never goes out into the world. Yet he's bringing his possible enemies down in to have a good look everywhere. Figure the place out. Clown person. That's all I can say. So then we get a scene that goes on for way too fucking... It goes on for about 10 minutes, it feels like. It feels longer than that. It's just Shuri, like, because they've put her in a suit. Because, of course, if she was to go down into the water with nothing on, the water would just fucking crush you. The weight of the water would just crush you. So, yeah, another thing to point out, I don't really... Why is Namor the only one with powers? Don't know. I don't know. So, yeah, so we get this long scene. There's this, like, music coming across. This was the part of the movie where I'm like, the soundtrack is fucking abysmal. It really is. I hated the soundtrack from start to finish. This part was just fucking cringe. This is just the cringe part of the movie. So Namor's taking her around, showing her the place. We see people throwing a ball for a hoop in the water, by the way. That's not how water works. You know, I guess it's a vibranium ball. I don't know. But they're like throwing a ball for a hoop. It's like, no. Can't throw balls in water, I'm afraid. Like, deep under the water. I don't know why they're doing that. But let's skip ahead a bit, because we don't really need to pay that much attention to the shite going on. So, and then he shows, again, they've got, like, buildings and all that underneath the ocean. So my main thing is, how exactly is that all sticking together? You know, I guess, I don't know what they're making it out of, but it's sticking all together. Again, it's not vibranium, it's just, you know, it just looks like stone, clay, whatever. And then, there's, like, this main building they have that has, like, a sun, well, not a sun, it's like a light on top of it, and then Namor says, where are we? From the depths of the ocean, I brought the sun to my people. So basically, his motivation by showing Shuri this is to, again, convince her to kill the scientist. By showing her, he's showing her all this stuff. Why? Why are you doing this? Just goes against how you've already been established. So that's pretty much that. We're done with that. That went on way too long. It really did. Just this cringe music. Just Shuri. Wow. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this for 10 minutes? But now we move on to... I just remembered T'Challa's girlfriend's name. It's fucking went again now. Nakia, that's it. Nakia. So she's standing on a beach for some reason with a little motorcycle, Wakandan motorcycle. And then she gets a call from the AI system saying, we've located a bracelet to Atlantic Sea, whatever. So she's now going off. She goes on the phone with the Queen. The Queen says, I'm going to draw out Namor for some reason. So she goes down. Remember, she's been told, make sure you're not seen. In and out. And she does eventually say, oh, at any cost, whatever. So she's on her way down there, and what's going on down there currently is Shuri has been given the necklace of Namor's mother, and he says, oh, it was made from, a plant that was in vibranium soil, stuff like that. So, again, it's already obvious this is going to recreate the Black Panther juice. We got rid of it in the previous movie, and now, Namor just so happens to give his mother's necklace to Shuri that just so happens to be, we'll talk about it more when we get to it. So he gives her that. Where are we? We get stuff like, where I think they're going too far. Where they're like trying to mirror Chadwick Boseman's death, and I just think it's in bad taste. Where you have Shuri saying, "My brother suffered in silence," and that's because Chadwick Boseman didn't tell anybody that he was dying. And I'm just like, just don't. I don't know why you're doing that. They forget about most of it. Like the whole grief part of what was meant to be about grief, that gets lost in the movie anyway. You just get random things like that. My brother suffered in silence. It's like, yeah, calm down. Calm down a little bit. But she's got that bracelet. What else goes on? Yeah, and now Namor's like, it's no longer about the scientist. You've spent this whole time wanting to kill the scientist, convince Shuri to let him kill the scientist, to now only go, it's no longer about the scientist. So that was a waste then, wasn't it? Waste of time. Waste of time. Apparently, what he wants now, he wants Wakanda to be his ally, and he wants them to wage war on the entire world and strike them first. So he just wants the same thing as Killmonger. Just wants to kill everybody that's on the surface. Like, everybody. Alright, that's fucking boring. Very, very, very complex villains you're dealing with here. It's just, I want to kill people because I don't like them. That's all it is. I think he wants to use Riri as a hostage so like if Wakanda don't go along with this, then he'd kill her. And then he's like, I heard you say you wanted to burn the world, Shuri. She did say that. I don't know why she said that, but she did say it. So yeah, there's that. He just wants to fucking kill everyone. That's all it is. I think he does mention something like, oh, people enslaved people like me, and no, didn't enslave the Wakandans, did they? The Wakandans stood idly by and let it all happen. That is why they are pricks. So, what happens after this? So yeah, then we have a scene with Martin Freeman again. So yeah, he's got it's like higher up people in the government or CIA or FBI. I don't know. But yeah, basically these people are saying to Martin Freeman, they abducted a woman who built this machine. The only person that can build the machine for some reason. So like they know the Wakandans have took Riri. So Martin Freeman's excuse for why Riri Williams is there is fucking terrible. Terrible lie. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever why you would think people would believe this. But yeah, he says Riri Williams is a child prodigy who was running circles around her professors. So amazing. The Wakandans were recruiting her as part of an outreach program. I'm just thinking Wakanda, vibranium, girl who made a vibranium detector. I'm pretty sure it's not part of an outreach program. Shit lie. Really shit lie. So, yeah, it's just like, oh, we'd be at war with a Wakandan military. We can't comprehend. They fight with spears. Fight with spears. And we're about to get to a battle, the battle part of the movie. Well, the first battle, that is. And yeah, there's no fucking military there. There's no military in Wakanda. Where are they all? We'll talk about it more. But I find it funny, you think, oh, a Wakandan military, we can't comprehend. Bitch, we got guns. Do I need to say more? Oh no, that's right, the Wakandans shoot out of a spear. With no sights on it whatsoever. Oh, Jesus, man. This movie is just breaks everywhere it goes. So, yeah, that's what I just find funny. I just find it funny that is said before we're about to get to when Namor attacks Wakanda. And Martin Freeman's like, if we'd be at war with a military we can't comprehend. Yeah, it's funny we get to the battle scene, there's no military to be seen. Seems like there's a couple of people, main characters, that's it. So that's very amusing to me that you say that. So that's that scene. Again, Martin Freeman is just, his character, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So, yeah, because he's still got her bracelet or whatever it is. So then we get I think part of this was in the trailers, wasn't it? Where Namor and the Queen are having a conversation on the beach. And Angela Bassett's bust looks very nice. That's what I say about that. But yeah, that scene is essentially, oh, I want my daughters back and stuff. So yeah, I think the main reason the Queen drew Namor out was so then Nakia could go in and save Shuri and Riri. Because we got to save fucking Riri, haven't we? Who's done nothing at this point than be amazing at everything. They think that's the type of characters people like, isn't it? They're just great at everything. They got nothing to learn, nothing to achieve, nothing to change for. But whatever. So, if you remember, Nakia, T'Challa's girlfriend, the Queen said, try and do it a bit stealthy. So, Nakia just walks in the room while all the Smurfs are there. And just, alright. And then she kills one of them. Or shoots, I don't know if she kills them, but she shoots one. And then, yeah, Shuri's like, do you know what you've done? You've started a war. This is an act of war. You go to other countries and steal people. Why are you worried about that? Why are you worried about it with the Atlanteans? But everybody else, nah, do what we want with them. They're nothing but clowns. So Nakia walks in. Yeah, it's because like one of the Smurfs holds Shuri with like a knife to her neck, I think. So Nakia just kills her. And Shuri's like, it's an act of war. Fucking hell. Don't worry about that any other time. So they're now, Shuri and Riri are now out the clutches of Megamind, Brainiac Namor. So yeah, Namor has a scene with his fucking girlfriend. I guess it's his girlfriend. And then they're like, we're going to attack these Wakandans. So that's that. So now, yeah, we're back at we get an absolute meaningless scene. No point talking about it, is there really? Fuck it, move on. We've already been here quite a long time. So, yeah, Riri's making herself at home at Wakanda. The Queen isn't letting her call her mum to let her know she's okay. You've got M'Baku hanging out with his bros. And then, yeah, all of a sudden, all this water just starts creeping in from somewhere. Water just starts sort of going all over the, like, Wakanda's streets from somewhere. Because, of course, the blue Smurf people and Namor, they got in again because nobody thought to put a force field in the water. You know, like it happened at the start of the movie. No one clicked onto it. No one said, make sure that water is fucking closed. Otherwise, they're gonna get in again. But no, they left it, so now they've gotten in again. Nobody's got any common sense in this. Again, this is just par for the course of Marvel now. It's like nobody has a brain that thinks maybe we should close that up in case they come back again. You would think after them killing someone and taking Shuri and Riri back, well, Namor's coming for us, isn't he? So we better make sure he can't get in. We better at least try, make the attempt at stopping him from coming in. But they don't, because the script needs them to come in. So we can't have the Wakandans be smart. No. Otherwise, how are we going to get them in there? So you've got M'Baku, he dives in the ocean and saves some people, but all this water's just coming from nowhere. The Smurfs start singing their self-deletion song. So this is just war crimes at this point. They're just killing innocent people. And yet I've seen on social media people saying, oh, Namor is such a sympathetic... No, he's fucking not. Fucking killing children and shit. That's what I mean. They're singing this song where people jump to their deaths. It's like, no, there's kids about and all that sort of stuff. You don't give a shit about that. So, but it shows us like the medics and all that jumping to their deaths. So you've got Shuri and some other people. They're floating about in their little helicopter things. The Queen's doing some shit on a window where Riri gets involved. Then Namor walks out the ocean. Well, yeah, you've also got M'Baku, who's fighting one of these Smurfs. Because one thing you'll notice in this movie is rather than kill these blue people, they throw them into the water where they're at their strongest. That's what they... Rather than just fucking off them. That's what you do. Don't throw them back in the water where they're going to be stronger. But we only get one instance of that so far. It's in the battle later on where it's just... You just start to wonder, why is nobody killing them? They're killing you. Why are you just knocking them off into the water? But we'll get to that eventually. So, yeah, we get like this scene of... Because Namor walks onto the beach and for some reason his back's dry, even though he just walked out the water. And he punches M'Baku like right in the chest on his like chest armor. And like really fucking hard. It's like, yeah, you're dead. Most likely dead. Because he then goes flying back and fucks into like wood and all that. But like it breaks his chest piece. It breaks a big piece off. So there's that. M'Baku should be dead, but of course he isn't because it's Marvel and people just assume everybody has superpowers. And then Namor's flying about on his ankles again. He's got like a spear, so he's like cutting through these vibranium ships and stuff like that. There's a reason I'd mention that, and we'll get to it. So he's doing all that, completely fucking him up. Then Namor flies up to the big tower where Riri and the Queen is. Now, what he does is he flies into at the window, bangs it with full force. He's a very strong guy with a spear. Now, this just cracks the glass. So his vibranium spear doesn't work. Don't know if the windows are vibranium, but he's just been fucking up all these helicopters with a vibranium spear on vibranium helicopters. So one makes me think, even if the windows are vibranium, this should fucking smash them. But no, the spear doesn't work. Do you want me to tell you what works? Water. A spear didn't break it, but water did. It's like those stupid little water bombs they have. I just find it funny. So those things smash the glass, but your spear didn't. Okay, I guess that's how the world works. Ugh. So yeah, he smashes that in, and then we just get a lot of weird shit. It's kind of hard to really explain, but all this water goes in. So on the, because they're in like the council room, so on the floor there is glass, like a glass floor. So that smashes beneath them, and then they fall into this, and the room fills with fucking water all the way to the top, the whole floor. When it's like it wasn't that much water. So of course now they're drowning because they've somehow, well, first of all that glass smashed, that would have cut them up. It didn't, because we can't show blood. And then they just straight away fall into the hole, into the room below where it's filled to the brim with water. So the Queen has to save Riri because she's gone unconscious. And where do we go from here? But it's just a lot of, it's like, what's going on? I don't really know. Yeah, you would have thought all they're singing like the song to make everyone jump off stuff. It only seems to work on extras, people that don't, aren't main characters. So where are we here? I've got to figure out where we are. So yeah, we've had Namor's spear can't break windows, but water can. I fucking hell, this movie. It just raises questions like, what the fuck are these people on? They must be on something. It's like, I think you need to take a line of cocaine or something, man. Maybe that will make you more creative. I don't know. I don't know what you're on. But nothing makes sense. It's just, we need a good visual. So to hell with what makes sense. So the Queen saves Riri, pulls her back up. And then Danny Guerrera and Shuri and Nakia, they all come up in the building and they're trying to resuscitate Riri and the Queen. And while they're trying to resuscitate people to stop them from dying, Namor's just stood in the background making a list of demands. Just say it. What does he say? He says, in a week, Wakanda will join me in a war or I will kill you all. So I do have to kind of come back to the fact that this like during this entire thing that's been going on in Wakanda, where is Wakanda's military? Where are they? We've just heard from Martin Freeman. Oh, the force of their military would overpower us. Yet there's none of them here. Where are they all? Where are they? Dunno. So yeah, Namor's just in the background as the Queen and that are being resuscitated, making his demands. So they save Riri, like that. The water comes up out of her, but the Queen, nah. In Wakandan Magic City, we can't save someone from drowning, even though all the other stuff is very easy for us. It seems like they probably could have saved her, but no. They were trying to go for a sad scene. The only issue, though, I didn't care about any of these characters, so I ain't really got much to say on it. So Shuri's all mad about this. So now we're getting closer to the point of the movie where grief then turns into vengeance, like her being consumed by vengeance, and she needs to overcome that vengeance. We just throw that in the movie out of nowhere with no build up to it. It's just, oh, now the movie's all about vengeance. That grief stuff, yeah, it wasn't there anyway. So, Shuri's crying. The Queen's, they have another funeral, which we can just skip through. Because there isn't much happens. So, yeah, what's going on? So, now Martin Freeman's getting arrested by Madam Hydra for selling out his own country. Because that's just what you would do. You get some bad consequences for betraying your own country for people that aren't really your friends. I'm pretty sure when it came to saving you in the previous movie, they hummed and hawed about whether they should do it or not. Even though you take a bullet for them, didn't you? But nah, he's got it in his head that, oh no, these are actually my friends. Even though, because I'm white, they call me colonizer. That's what friends do, that is. So yeah, it all comes out that Madam Hydra set all this up. The little beads, Shuri's bracelet, she planted that on the scene so then Martin Freeman would then hold that from them and they could put bugs on it, and then he would speak to the Queen of Wakanda. So there's a lot of stuff going on there, where it's like, really, what if he just picked them up and said, oh, we've got Wakandan beads here? You know, your whole plan would be bust, wouldn't it? So yeah, there's that. Yeah, it's just like, he's just like, the Wakandans saved my life. They're good people. So yeah, then it's basically, oh, America bad, you know, the usual. It's just like, oh, you know, vibranium. Think of what the Wakandans could be doing, or if it was only America that had vibranium, what would they be doing? So that is that. So yeah, we get conversations between Riri and Shuri back at Wakanda Ranch. So Riri wants to help because she says, your mother protected me like I was one of her own. I'm just like, you knew her for 5 minutes. I don't know what gave you that impression, but okay. So they're trying to figure out how to stop Namor. And they're like, well, he clearly gets powers from the ocean. So if we dry him out in like a big dryer, then that will weaken him. So yeah, they have all this in there, but when it actually comes to enforcing the plan in the next battle, doesn't do anything. It works, but yeah, we'll talk about it. Again, I'm trying to get ahead of myself because I want to get it done. I just want to get it done. I already know we're going to be hitting like 2 hours in this fucking video. So yeah, this is when it comes out. Oh, I could use this bracelet that Namor just so happened to give me and use it to make Black Panther juice again. It's like, oh, I didn't see that coming. But yeah. So the only reason this stuff will work is because it was the soil. It was vibranium soil. So you're trying to tell me that Wakanda doesn't have vibranium soil? Right. Okay. Don't know how that works. Don't care to get into it. Whatever. So Riri's she's gonna remake. I guess she's gonna rebuild. Not only a brand new suit for herself that is fucking very cringe, but also another vibranium detector. I think their plan is to set it off, and then that will bring Namor out or something like that. I'm not really sure how that works. We'll have to figure it out when we get to it, but whatever. So the bracelet's going to recreate Black Panther juice. Riri goes off on her own, and she walks off with like this. But yeah, they've moved everyone in Wakanda. They've moved to the mountains, right? Because they can't get to mountains. Don't know. So Riri goes off on her own with another girl. The girl asks, how old were you when you built your first machine? Now, it's like people, I don't know, these people working on this movie must have children. Because after being asked, how old were you when you built your first machine? Riri says to that, 3 years old. I was 3 years old, and I built a fucking machine. At 3. No, I'm sorry. Piss off. That's a 3-year-old building a machine. Get the fuck out of here. Again, they just keep layering it on. Oh, she's so amazing. She's so great. It's like, do you think this is getting people looking forward to the Iron Heart series? No thanks. Replace it with Robert Downey Jr. I'll give it a look. So, yeah, she's just like, oh, my dad gave me some tools and let me figure it out. A 3-year-old. This is such a dumb fucking movie. It really is. Oh, my dad just gave me some tools at 3 years old, and he said, here, figure it out, darling. Fuck off. Yeah, we keep getting I haven't really spoke about it yet, but there is a suit that Shuri has been working on. Not a Black Panther suit, a suit for... I guess she was building it for Danny Guerrero's character, I guess. We can talk about that when we come to that as well, because that's another cringe, absolute cringe fucking costume. Really is. But we can talk about the costumes when we come to them. I'm going to have to bring it up on screen so you can actually see what I'm talking about. But we'll get to that. So, now Shuri is going to be... She's like recreated this Black Panther juice. She says, oh, like Nakia says to her, oh, how do we know if it works? Shuri just says, if it glows. Right, that's you're going to take something based on, oh, if it glows. That's all. You're not going to test it to make sure. No, it's just, if it glows, then it will work. Okay, whatever you say, Shuri. You're so amazing. You're so smart. So they lay her down. They they don't really do the same sort of ritual they usually do with the Black Panthers. So, yeah, she goes under, and then you know, like when I forget what you call it now, but it's when they go into the sort of the purple world, and they speak to someone that they generally, it's like with T'Challa, it was his father. With Killmonger, it was his father, wasn't it? Yeah. But yeah, who she meets in the purple land is Killmonger. Instead of the Queen that she just lost. I don't know. They wanted Killmonger in it, and that's the best they could do. Don't know what to tell you. So, yeah, she's speaking to Killmonger. I don't. That's not usually how it works. Usually, you meet someone that you love. Or that is, you know, someone that you lost or something like that. But now it's just, oh, I'm going to meet up with Killmonger. We had to have Killmonger in here. So, basically, I'm not really going to go that far into it because a lot of it's horse shit. But yeah, he's again an absolute another generic villain, where it's just, oh, we're more alike than you think. So what other villain? Every villain says that. Fucking hell. Yeah, we're more alike than whatever. So yeah, Killmonger's like, I took the Black Panther. He basically wants to know why she took the Black Panther juice. He says, I took it to avenge my ancestors too. It's like, since Shuri's not have we forgotten what ancestors means? Ancestors isn't, oh, my mum. Ancestors are like, oh, 1,000 years ago. But yeah, it's like all this, oh, I'm avenging people. It's all coming out of nowhere. So yeah, that's that scene with Killmonger. We're alike, you and I. Fucking hell. So generic. So, yeah, there's that. We have that shite. And then, yeah, then we have... so, Shuri has now taken the Black Panther juice. She's now the Black Panther. She's got a new suit. She's absolutely skinny as fuck. And she jumps in the roof up the mountains with M'Baku. Then her head comes, and then they start doing an arm wrestling thing. It's like, why are you doing that? You already know she's got the Black Panther juice. Why do you need to do that? I don't know what they were going for. So yeah, now they're trying to come up with a plan about what to do with the Atlanteans. Shuri's like, oh, we'll bring Namor to us, and like, of course, people are worried about, well, we can't have that again. So she's like, oh no, we'll bring Namor to us in a distant location at sea where the fish people are at their strongest, rather than bring them onto land where they're going to be weaker. Fucking hell. Where did he... Nobody stepped in. No person like M'Baku said, actually, that doesn't make sense, Shuri. Why are you even calling the shots? What experience have you got? I don't understand why you're going to take people that are at their strongest in the water, you're going to go fight them in the water. That's where they're their strongest. No, you bring them to land, so they're easier to fight. Because all you have to do is then knock off their little shitty masks, and then they'll die. or like rip the, what they got there in front of their gills, rip that off, they're gonna die. But no, we're gonna fight them where they're at their strongest. Okay, I suppose it makes sense for these idiots. Unbelievable. So then she has a private conversation with M'Baku. She's like, what matters is what I want, and I want Namor dead. Yeah, he's basically like, your mother wouldn't want this for you and stuff like that. She's like, oh, well, she's gone now. So what matters is what I want, and I want Namor dead, because we're now doing a vengeance story. After telling everybody it was all about grief. Absolutely shite. So yeah, they have that conversation. And we've now, I'm glad to say, we've now only got half an hour of the movie to go. So they're now getting ready to enact their plan, that is drawing the fish people that are strongest in the water, bringing them to them on a ship out in the water. I don't really know why no one spoke up and said, maybe we shouldn't do that, Shuri, because we want them weaker than what they are. But no, nobody writing this had the idea to come up with a better way than just, they go and fight them in the water, even though they know they're strongest in the water. But we've got Shuri as Black Panther to save us now. Wow, what a good decision. What a great decision that I'm sure if you're smart, you may figure out and fix. But we shall see. So they're going off to war. Nakia has a conversation with Shuri, and this is when the whole vengeance stuff starts. It turns into a vengeance story after supposedly being about grief. So Nakia says to her, don't let the vengeance consume you, because it will consume you even more and grow larger and stuff like that. It just comes out of nowhere. Comes out of nowhere, just to the point where it's like, we're doing this now. Well, okay. Okay. So Namor at his little palace, he has his people come and tell him that another detector of vibranium has been activated under the ocean. Now, I don't really know how they know that. I don't know what they've got in place to know that, this is a vibranium detector going off. Don't know. So they go and investigate, and it's a little bit of a trap, because they put the vibranium detector gets put at the bottom of the ocean, and then it starts pulsating these sounds that, of course, fuck with their ears. So Namor's like, get out of the water, get out of the water. And then the Wakandan ship appeared. It was like cloaked, so it was invisible, and then it appears. It's just this big ship, and they're getting they're all ready to fight the water people at the water where they're strongest. So they're all like Wakanda, Wakanda, and all that shit. Namor starts throwing things about, and we're gonna have to pull this up. You need to get a good look. Should we get a better shot? I'll try and get a better shot, actually. But yeah, Riri Williams is in a brand new suit. I can't really get. We'll get to it. I'll show you. The reveal will be worth it. Really will. The amount of effort that went into this costume. Fucking hell. As we know, they've downgraded recently when it comes to costumes. So we need a better shot than this, because you need to see it in all its glory. And of course, we also have another suit to look at, the one that Danny Guerrero is wearing. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out what's worse, but it's impossible. So, yeah, Riri is in a brand new costume, a brand new suit of armor, whatever, that she made at Wakanda. So Namor throws a helicopter at her, and rather than her being a hero and stopping the helicopter, she dodges it, and it flies straight into on the top of the Wakandan ship where all the Wakandans are standing. So that helicopter wipes quite a few of them out, because she just dodged it. Fucking hell. So she dodges that. They're all the fish people are climbing up the side of the ship, and what they do is, like, the Wakandan, the King's Guard or whatever they call them, They jump down with guys up top holding the rope. An advanced civilization, remember? Instead of having a machine that already does that. They've got people standing up the top of the ship that are men, of course, and the Whammon Kingsguard, they're hanging off the ship and just knocking the fish people off rather than killing them. Knocking these people into the water does not affect them. They live in the water. Why are you just throw? They're just going to climb back up again. It makes no sense why they're like afraid to kill any of them, because they're wiping the Wakandans out. But yeah, they're just like, no, just knock them off the ship back into the water where they regain their strength. They are not very switched on, the Wakandans. I think that's obvious to everybody. So yeah, they're just knocking them off into the water. And again, you have a situation where, see, when you introduce someone can do something, and then when they don't do it when it makes sense that they should, yeah, you just create problems for yourself, because now you're just being inconsistent with what they can do. And that is, of course, the self-deletion song that they sing. The Smurf people can just sing that rather than... They don't even have to fight. They don't have to fight. But they're like, nah, we're not going to use it this time, though. I don't know why. You might as well. It'll save you less casualties. But it doesn't really matter, because the Wakandans too afraid to kill you anyway. They're just knocking you off into the water. That's the thing. The Wakandans have got spears hanging off the ship, and rather than just go boof straight into them, they're like, no, just whack them off. Whack them off. So that makes no sense why you would be doing that. So... yeah, I think so. So, like, Namor is chasing after Riri Williams up in the sky. Riri Williams is above him, shooting at him. And rather than him focus on what he's doing, he starts looking down there while Riri Williams is shooting at him. It's like, you may want to pay attention. So, she's up in the sky shooting and all that. So what they do, they're going to attempt to try and dry Namor out to depower him or make him, or weaken him. So they're trying to get him in some sort of position to land him inside a ship that has heaters in it. Which they finally do. They get him in there. Namor says, "Princess," and she says, "No, I am the Black Panther, and I'm here for retribution." What a line. So they've got this little heat chamber that they lock him inside. The only issue is, though, they don't take his spear off him. So he just bashes the fucking machine till he breaks it. It's like, So, yeah, this stuff is absolutely pointless, because after that, he just escapes. He just bashes it into pieces. Then he has a bit of a one-on-one with Shuri, and then then they crash the aircraft. But those heaters did nothing. So yeah, here's a good shot for you. Let me just try and get it. Almost had it there. So this is what we've got here. If we just take a look, this is Riri Williams' suit. Let's have a quick look at this. So that is what they've went with. It's got cornrows on the top and all that. Why you would add that feature, dunno. You've got this heart that looks like... Is this a charity or something, is it? And then, for some reason, the blue breaks off into there. It's, we could get a better shot of it, but that's very clear to everybody. It's not a very good look. I'm sorry, Riri. What a shit suit. What a shit suit. Absolute shite. I don't really... what are you going for? Who designed this? Because the costume designer of this needs to be fired immediately. I don't want to see people lose their jobs, but if that is what you're producing, I'm sorry, it ain't up to scratch. It really isn't. But that's just something else that is par for the course with current Marvel. Absolutely hideous. So the Smurfs are still climbing up the ship. The one guy says, "We need to sink the ship." So you get one of the main Whammon blue woman, whatever she is. She goes down and bursts a fucking, like, hole into something that makes the ship, like, messes with the ship. And it stops. I don't know. But she does that. You know, the Wakandans, they have force field technology, yet they didn't use it there. They thought, nah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then, yeah, I think they throw a load of water bombs underneath the ship, and that just like makes the like sinks the ship, or like half sinks it at least. But they're on these whales and shit. So it's just chaos. You get all the Wakandans fall into the water. Again, there's a reason why I said you should have took the water people to the land, because now they are going to dominate, as they have been doing. They are going to dominate. When you fall in the water, just drag you down. You're done. You're done. So that's why you take them to land, where they're weaker and where they can't drown you. Just because of things like this. But no one was smart enough to figure that out. Just weren't smart enough for it. So the Wakandans are in there. The ship gets... Yeah, Namor and Shuri now crash the ship onto a beach that just appears out of nowhere. Don't know where the beach... It was in the middle of the ocean. Now there's just a beach over there. It depends how far the ship... But we didn't see any beaches around. I don't know why you do it near a beach. Well, they should have done it on the beach. That would have made more sense. So, yeah, they're all still climbing up. So, yeah, now I think is a good time as any. Let's see if we can find it. Let's get a good look at the new suit that Shuri was building for the Kingsguard Danny Guerrero person. So let me have a look if I can get this, because it's fucking cringe. It really is. So I'm just looking for a good shot of this. It may appear in a second. Still can't seem to find it. Come on, give us a good look. Give us a good look at this. Alright, there we go. There we go. Let's have a little look at this. See what you think of it. So that's what... I just got what Predator. Is that supposed to be the Predator? Because that's what it looks like. That is an absolute atrocious costume. And of course it's still the... It's the nanotech where the helmet... But it's just the front of the helmet. And you've still got the back of the helmet that stays up and just goes back like that. And it looks fucking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Because of course you just got the bald head sitting like that, and the costume is sort of the helmet is up like that. So I don't know what they were going for with that, but it looks like the Predator. Just looks like you've ripped off the Predator. But now we're having the final showdown with Shuri as Black Panther, because that's a good option, and clown person Namor. So they get into it a bit. Having a good scrap. There was a funny scene in this. I just laughed my arse. Where, yeah, it's like... So they're fighting, and he grabs Shuri, and then Shuri breaks one of the wings on his ankles, and his scream... I honestly want to play it, but the scream was fucking... When the movie comes out, I'm grabbing that scream, because it's so... Another ridiculous thing. It's like, it's like, where the fuck did you get that noise from? So they're having that scrap. They mix it in kind of with what's going on at the ship. And then what happens is Namor starts to get the better of Shuri, and he puts a spear straight through her spine, basically. Straight through her spine. Right in here. But she's fine. Right, okay. Nothing, again, nobody dies for this is just a known thing. You don't die when you get a spear put through you. It doesn't happen. Just does not happen. But she has that spear put through her. It goes back to the conversation with Killmonger and shit like that. So she manages to pull herself off of this, because he impales her into like a rock. So she pulls herself off. No blood on it, by the way. No, because it's Disney. There's no blood on it whatsoever. She's fine. So then she then gets the better of him. I think the little aircraft that smashed and like crash landed That blows up and then burns the shit out of his back. And then he falls on the ground, and Shuri's getting ready to kill him with like a spear again, because we're still fighting with spears rather than guns. So, yeah, they have that, and then, yeah, she's like, vengeance has consumed us, so we shouldn't do this, or something like that. So, yeah, now it's all fine. They've made up. They're going to be allies and shit like that. Shuri says, I won't let anybody know about your civilization. So that means all the shenanigans that have been going on with all those cop cars getting blown up, Riri getting kidnapped, and all the other stuff. What else? Loads of stuff. They're now gonna... Wakanda is gonna get the blame for that now. They should face consequences, but Wakanda is better than everybody else. They don't face consequences. No, that is just for other people to do. But that's what should happen. They should be faced with the consequences of smashing up all these police cars, stuff like that, which should be is considered an act of war. You're dealing with another nation that has just went into another country, kidnapped a person, and then blew up a load of police cars and part of the city that they were in. And also the boat at the when the Atlanteans sang that song and all the people jumped to their deaths, Wakanda's going to get the blame for that as well. So in reality, they should be facing consequences. In Marvel movies, though, we don't deal with consequences that would occur that make sense. No, we don't deal with that. So yeah, they're like, oh, we won't tell anybody. We won't tell anybody. So yeah, they make a deal, like Namor and Shuri, that there'd be allies and stuff like that. It's like Namor was winning, by the way. Like they were dominating on the ship. They were still dominating as he then gave up. So yeah, that was very silly of you, Namor. But a very stupid villain. So yeah, they fly down on this aircraft back to the boat, and he's basically saying, "Oh, we're all fine now. It's all fine. Stop fighting. Stop fighting." So now we're getting close to wrapping up now. It's not far away. So we've now all those Black Panther juice, like those flowers. They're all fine now. We've got plenty of those. He got rid of it in the previous movie. Now we got it back. Whatever. Shuri and Riri have one last conversation where she gives like she says, "Oh, you can't keep that suit you built, so of course we're gonna get a new one." That was a good decision because that suit was horrendous. But yes, so she doesn't get to keep that suit, but Shuri done up her car, her muscle car, got all the parts and stuff like that. Right. So that's how that ends. We've really, Shuri has went on an arc here. So yeah, they of course bring that up later. So all the people are at that trial by combat stuff, and M'Baku jumps out at an aircraft and says, "Who wants to challenge for the throne?" So he's of course going to be King of Wakanda. Shuri is going to be the Black Panther. Hopefully they change that, because it's not a good idea. She couldn't even carry this movie, so get rid of her. Really, just get rid of her. Just put her back to the annoying scientist woman that's better than everybody else. That would do her. I think as Black Panther, yeah, you ain't going far with this. So yeah, M'Baku challenges them, and then we get one last scene with Namor and his people. I wrote most of this dialogue down anyway, so. So yeah, I assume this is his girlfriend. Why do they still have masks on when they're underneath the? Oh no, they're in the. For some reason in Atlantis or whatever they call it, they have rooms that are just normal, that like this air in there. It's not water. So he incorporated that into assuming that people were going to be cut right. You don't even need buildings, to be honest, under the water. So yeah, his girlfriend's like, "All my life I wanted to fight by your side. The idea that to kneel before the Wakandans and stuff like that." Namor says, "Oh, the Black Panther had many reasons to kill me. Why do you think she didn't? Because she is the most powerful person." No, there's more powerful superheroes than her. Not most powerful person. Of the most powerful nation on the surface, yet we've seen their military. They don't have one. They fight with spears. They're not the most powerful nation in the world. All they've got is vibranium that they won't give anybody. They won't give to anybody. They don't want to help anybody. Don't even want to help anybody that's just outside their little ethno state. Don't want to help anyone. Haven't done it. You know, the whole point of the last movie was we should actually be helping people. The Queen went back on that. Shuri hasn't shown any wanting to help anybody. So, yeah. But, yeah, they're just bigging up Wakanda. It's like Wakanda's shit. Filled with pricks. But she has no allies and now feel empathy for the people of... So that's what they call Atlantis, is Talokan. Talokan. With this alliance, Talokan will be stronger than ever. The surface world will go for Wakanda, and then Wakanda will come to us. So he's still betting on that, well, we're going to make an alliance, and we're going to take on the surface world. So he still wants to kill everybody. So complex. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. Then we've got a couple of scenes to go. So, remember Martin Freeman's character? He was supposed to be going to prison for being a traitor to his country. Because, yeah, he betrayed his country for some reason. Because he seems to think the Wakandans are his friends, even though they call him a colonizer. So, they break him out. So, they've now committed another crime in a country that isn't their own. That being America. They've now freed Martin Freeman from his chains. Danny Guerrero says to him, "A colonizer in chains. I've now seen it all." Well, it wasn't funny or nothing. I know the people making it thought it was funny, but it wasn't. So yeah, so they've now done another crime. Fucking hell. No consequences to their own actions. Never. Can't do it. We cannot do it. So now we're at the final scene. I'm gonna blow through this quickly. Shuri goes and she burns the funeral clothes because she's now gotten over her grief, even though everything that happened in the movie didn't explore grief. The grief didn't come up. It was just, we're fighting some fish people now. That was all it was. And then you're now going to have, oh, well, this is what it was all about, you see. She's now over her grief that we're just going to throw in at the last minute, and it doesn't really make sense. It's not what has been shown throughout the movie. There was no connection with the fish people about grief. It was just, we're fighting some fish people now. Some Smurfs. That's all it was. So now they're going to pretend like, no, she went on an arc. Actually, Shuri went on an arc, she did. Which I say, it's fine, lie to yourself. Lie to yourself. So she burns her funeral clothes. Then Nakia comes down, of course, because she was T'Challa's girlfriend. She has a son that is T'Challa's son that she's named T'Challa. I don't know if you've went a bit too far. Although my guess is, I can only go on a guess. I don't think they're going to do it. I think by the point we even have to worry about who is going to be the actual Black Panther, Marvel's going to be gone by that point. Don't see them lasting long enough to do another Black Panther movie. Because the amount of sludge they are pumping out, losing an audience, like a person, at least one person a day, isn't they? When this is the shite they put out. So I would guess they're going to make him like Black Panther. Is T'Challa's son called T'Challa Black Panther? That's my guess. But again, as I say, will they even make it to Black Panther 3? I don't see it. I don't see it unless things turn around, but don't see that happening. Unfortunately, we have people going to the fucking movies to watch it. So Marvel go, oh look, that made a load of money. So that's all the effort we need to put into. So yeah, that's the end of the film. I don't know, it's a Rihanna song that's going on. Yeah, and then it just has dedicated to our friend Chadwick Boseman, which is what I thought that should have been the only thing they had. I just think that's the classy way to do it. Rather than kind of started like the... But again, it's really only the end and the front end that's fine in this movie. Everything in between it's nothing follows for, especially for, you know, thematically with grief and stuff, because we have grief at the start of the movie, we forget about that through the entire rest of the movie, then it turns into, this is a vengeance story, and then by the end of it, oh, we're back to grief. Right, you forgot about it though in the middle. You forgot about it, the entire thing. Forgot about it, but yeah, okay. That was Wakanda Forever, I guess. I don't. Why was it even called Wakanda Forever? I don't really know that. I'm like, why is it Wakanda Forever? Don't know. Shit title for a movie. But what else can I say other than this was a really bad movie? Never watch it again. But of course, as I say, I don't know if we're going to see a Black Panther 3. Just because the way Marvel has been throughout the entire Phase 4, which we are now at the end of. And boy, how many bad movies were there? The only acceptable one was No Way Home. Funny thing about that, though, that was made by Sony, so I find that quite hilarious. But other than that, we've had Black Widow. They assassinated her, like her character. What else did we have? A lot of these I just fucking forget at this point. We had Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Cock Rings. That was apparently a triumph. And then we had Eternals. That saved lives, apparently. Saved lives. No one went to see it, though, so don't know how it did. Then we had, what was the one after that? I'm forgetting at this point. I really do forget. What was it? Was it Multiverse of Madness, wasn't it? I know, it was No Way Home, again, the only acceptable one. Plot issues, good character work. The only one acceptable throughout the whole of Phase 4, made by Sony, not Disney. So, and then, yeah, then it was on the Multiverse of Madness, still the worst Marvel movie and one of the worst movies ever written. Then we had Thor Love and Thunder, 2 hours of unfunny cringe that was a waste of time. And we've now ended on Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and it was absolute horseshit. So now what we have to do is we have to look at what is to come in the future of Marvel. We've got Ant-Man and the Wasp next. I'm not fucking watching that shit. I'm not watching that. Didn't watch the second one. No interest in the third one. You know, I could do a review like this for it, but yeah. There's that much Marvel shit out next year that it's going to be impossible to keep up. So Ant-Man and the Wasp can go fuck itself. That's what that film can do. All the other series, though, I'll be tearing those to shreds. They're always fun to do. Unfortunately, you have to watch them. That's the catch. You have to watch them to get to the part where it's just taking the piss out of it. So there's loads of those coming. I think the next TV show is either, what is it, Secret Invasion or Echo, where they're going to destroy Daredevil further. Yeah, Marvel ain't got long to go. Got nothing that interests me other than Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Hopefully that they don't fuck them up. Luckily it's their last one, so going further, they haven't really got many chances to destroy them completely. But after that, Marvel have got nothing to offer me. As soon as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 comes out, after that, you got nothing for me. Nothing of interest. Other than just TV shows that I just want to take the piss out of. And some of your movies, just not Ant-Man and the fucking Wasp. No thanks. So that is what we've got to look forward to for Phase 5. Phase 6, they've even got Phase 7 sorted soon. We're not going to get there, I don't think. I don't think so. But like we're starting, I don't know how well this movie is going to do at the box office. Hopefully not good, because that just means we're going to get more of it. That's all that means. Marvel just go, oh, that was shit, that was. So yeah, people don't really care then, do they? So we might as well just pump out shit. Doesn't matter, does it? That is all that happens. But we'll see how well it does. Again, most of these movies now, these Marvel movies, last about a week. People forget about them. That's just the way it goes. That is the way it goes. But Wakanda Forever, Absolute shit. Wouldn't recommend it. Wouldn't recommend it to my dog. I really wouldn't. It's just got nothing of worth there. Nothing. They didn't have a story to tell. They had nothing to say. It was just, let us torture people by making a shit film that's 2 hours and 40 minutes. That was what they went with. But hey, this is what I expected anyway. I expect shit now when it comes to Marvel. So it's at least I'm not disappointed. At least in this movie, there wasn't any characters I gave one shit about. So that's the only good thing I can take away from this movie, that there's no one I care about that was in it.